Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks. Indira Gandhi National Open University School of Extension and Development Studies, SOEDS Bachelor of Arts, BAG Value Added Course. BEDSV101 Value Education. Block 4 Social Dynamics and Value Development. Unit-1 Process of Socialization.
1 Introduction. A rule for living is socialization. The process of socialization is the social development of the individual. It simply refers to acquire the socially approved ways of behavior, approved social roles and developing social attitudes. Many of us believe that the way we behave is perhaps due to our genes, i.e. nature, while few others believe that the way we behave is due to how we are brought up, i.e. nature. What is your opinion? Discuss with your friends whether our behavior is the product of nature or nurture or both. Did you arrive to a conclusion? I feel that the nature-nurture debate on process of socialization is unclear. We can leave this aspect for the researchers to experiment. Till then, we believe that socialization is influenced by nature as well as nurture. In this unit, the concept of socialization is discussed briefly. The teachers can very well emphasize the importance of socialization. The activities given in the unit will help the students to understand the process of socialization. 1.2 Objectives. Once you go through this unit, you will be able to understand the meaning of socialization, the values needed for good socialization, the difference between socialization, deviant and re-socialization, the agents of socialization, family, school, peer, media, and the importance of socialization. 1.5 Values desired for socialization. Here is a list of values every human being is expected to exhibit as a part of the processes of socialization. Value is referred to as traits. The traits, both positive as well as negative, are given in alphabetical order in box A. Trait positive, trait negative, attitudes, rebellious, ignores, rejects what's given, accepts authority, loyal, devoted, accepts what's given, affectionate, distant, cold, aloof, aspiring, ambitious, motivated, self-satisfied, motivated, candid, closed, guarded, secretive, caring, uncaring, unfeeling, callous, change, accepts, embraces, rejects change, cheerful, cheerless, gloomy, sour, grumpy, considerate, thoughtful, cooperative, courageous, courteous, decisive, devoted, determined, does what is necessary, right, perseveres, endures, enthusiastic. Expansive, faith in life, faith in oneself, faith in others, flexible, forgiving, inconsiderate, thoughtless, uncooperative, unhelpful, combative, cowering, fearful, rude, impolite, indecisive, uncommitted, uncaring, hostile, indecisive, unsure, does what is convenient, relents, gives up, unenthusiastic, apathetic, indifferent, kept back, tight, constricting, life can't be trusted, lack of faith in self, others can't be relied on, inflexible, rigid, unbending, stubborn, unforgiving, resentful, spiteful, focused, freedom given to others, friendly, frugal, thrifty, generous, goodwill, unfocused, scattered, authoritarian, controlling, unfriendly, distant, aloof, hostile, wasteful, spendthrift, miserly, selfish, ill will, malice, hatred, grateful, ungrateful, unappreciative, hard-working, Lari, honest, dishonest, deceiving, lying, humble, interested, involved, arrogant, conceited, egocentric, indifferent, uncaring, complacent, indifferent, jealous, not jealous, envious, covetous, kind, mature, unkind, uncaring, cruel, mean, injure, modest, open-minded, tolerant, optimistic, perfects, persistent, sustaining, positive, practical, punctual, realistic, reliable, respectful, responsibility, takes, responsible, EP to 9 levels, responsive, self-confident, narrow, close, small-minded, intolerant, pessimistic, allows imperfection, flagging, fleeting, unsustaining, negative, impractical, not viable, late, not on time, naive, impractical, unreliable, undependable, disrespectful, rude, impolite, blames others, unreliable, undependable, unresponsive, unreceptive, lack of self-confidence, insecure, self-directed, self-disciplined, self-esteem, high, self-giving, self-reliant, selfless, sensitive, serious, sincere, social independence, sympathetic, systematic, random, takes others' point of view, thoughtful towards others, directed by externals, undisciplined, unrestrained, indulgent, self-esteem, confidence, low, self-centered, dependent, selfish, insensitive, indifferent, silly, trivial, petty, insincere, dishonest, social approval required, unsympathetic, unfeeling, unsystematic, disorganized, disorderly, insists on own view, thoughtless, inconsiderate, callous, trusting, suspicious, mistrusting, unpretentious, pretentious, affected, ostentatious, unselfish, selfish, willing does, willingness, unwilling, reluctant, recalcitrant, work-oriented, convenience first, EP Psych Soc. 1.5.1 Undesirable traits. The undesirable traits are those traits that are not liked. When one feels reluctant to do certain things that are necessary, or shows hostility towards certain individuals, then such type of attitude is called negative. In the box A, above the list of few undesirable traits are mentioned. These undesirable traits are not appreciated in the society, even then many of us may exhibit them as whole or in part in many occasions. Let us do activity I to know ourselves. Activity, let us do an activity. Please pick a pen or pencil. A. Tick the traits from the box A that you possess. B. Record the bad values that hurt everybody in a plain sheet of paper. Can you add the traits of undesirable values in the box B? C. In the box C, write the traits that you do not possess but would like to learn. Have you seen an infant? How does he look? How does a newborn infant gradually transfer into a responsible citizen of the country? How this happens and who helps for this change? The answer lies in socialization. The process of becoming the member of the society is socialization. Thus, socialization is school without walls. The stepping stones of socialization are those traits which make us a unique individual. The traits are given below. Box C. Traits I wish to learn: irritation, shyness, attachment behavior, dependency, acceptance of authority, rivalry, attention-seeking, social approval. Resistant behavior. 1.6 Agents of socialization. What we are today is the outcome of our socialization. Our habits and attitudes are the reflection of the socialization process. The personality is the byproduct of socialization of an individual. Although socialization can be learned from anybody with whom the individual comes into direct contact, the agents of socialization are family, peers, school and mass media. Socialization has two stages: early socialization, adult socialization. The early phase of socialization is usually the responsibility of parents, peers and school. As the name suggests, it is the early phase of human life. Adult socialization is the later phase or the adult phase which begins after marriage, parenthood and old age. Let us study them briefly and understand how they contribute to learning of desirable values. 1.7 Early socialization. The socialization that takes place in the initial years of an individual's life is early socialization. Early socialization is influenced by family, peer, school and mass media. 1.7.1 Family. A family is a durable association of husband and wife with or without children. Family is defined as the group comprising a husband and wife and their dependent children, constituting a fundamental unit in the organization of society. Pictionary.ard.com Family 562. Look at this photograph of a mother doing computers and her child crying. What value can be derived? It is the home environment which favors development of good social attitudes. Making the children a social or antisocial person wise, parents take care of all the immediate physical and emotional needs of infants. The needs are very simple: food, physical warmth of the mother, toys, in short, anything that makes the baby comfortable. Many good habits are consciously taught to the child, but many others are picked up by the child by observing his parents. For instance, the pitch of the voice is more meaningful than words. The child is also able to learn information from the neighborhood. Action is louder than the words. The child's position in the family also determines the values learned. The influence of family on the socialization of the child depends on the following factors: the position of the child in the family. Size of the family. Parental expectation. Thus we can say that home is the seat of learning for social skills and values. Activity. Compare your own upbringing with that of a friend or acquaintance whose family seems to follow a different style of life. How your socialization is different from theirs in respect of values, beliefs and behaviors. What are the similarities in these families? Write down in a paper. Make a comparison of similarities and differences in each of these families in terms of inculcating values. Information deprivation. Dwarfism is an emotional deprivation of the child. It affects child's physical, social, and emotional growth. The cure is a positive, affectionate, and loving atmosphere along with food and shelter for the child. Such people often complain of dying of loneliness. Always remember that our relationships with everyone we meet will be colored for many years by the attitudes and expectation we develop before we are 6. 1 July 2002 Peers means of the same age. A person who is of equal standing with another in a group. wordnetweb.princeton.edu.pearl.vbung. When the child is with his peer groups, they are all equal. A new lesson on socialization is learned here: not to fight, not to hit, not to take toys by force or by crying. Learn to share, be disciplined and obedient. To be a leader in some situation and a follower in others. Thus, accommodation and tolerance are learnt while playing with peers. Peerhood may also be the beginning antisocial behavior among few. This phase needs great care, minute observation, and constant reminding of good values along with love. We need to behave sincerely to handle the sensitive teens. Activity. Remember your own teenage days. What difference you can record in today's teen and your own teenage? What values were important in your days, and are the same values relevant today? 1.7.3 School. Going to school is preparation for the future. The school can be a play school, kindergarten, primary school, middle and higher school, or any education institutions, where teacher-taught relation prevails. The activities of the school are programmed activities and certain rules have to be observed. Children learn many good values in school like time management, punctuality, patience, obedience, discipline. In schools we also learn sex-specific roles. There are pictures in the books of primary school depicting father going to office and mother to the kitchen. Do you think such sex-specific roles that we learn at school have an impact on our socialization? Why boys and girls behave differently? Activity. In your own family, have you been discriminated on sex-specific roles? Write little discrimination you faced. Would you like to continue with traditional sex role stereotyping information? The great anthropologist Margaret Mead through her research proved that it is the attitude of the parents' socialization that makes the men and women different rather than biological inheritance. Men and women are different because of their social inheritance rather than biological inheritance. The sex-specific roles are learned through socialization. Thus, culture influences the way we define what a male is and what a female is. Margaret Mead, Sex and Temperament in Three Primitive Societies, New York, Morrow, 1963. Activity: on a sheet of paper write down the traits of a successful male and the traits of a successful female in our society. Analyze it with your friends and see whether they agree with you. 1.7.4 Mass Media. Mass media is communication through print and satellite like television, newspaper, films, etc. It has a significant impact on the lives of people. Especially, television has made an important difference in our children. It gives random factual information about our people and culture. Television gives information about norms and values. The vocabulary of the child enhances. The children have wide range of programs to watch such as educational, entertainment programs or adult programs. Several values are learnt like courage, dedication, loyalty, virtue. On the other hand, TV is also like a babysitter, making children engaged for unlimited hours. 1.8 Adult socialization. As we know that socialization is a lifelong process, throughout our adult life we keep learning or mastering new or unfamiliar roles and norms. Many old values change and new values are adapted. The values and norms of the society is also not stable, it also keeps changing. Thus, by marrying and starting new families, doing jobs, etc., adults are engaged in a process of socialization. Adult socialization is best explained on three parameters: 1. Marriage, I. Parenthood, I. Old age. This is also called as anticipatory socialization. Let us study them briefly and try to understand the values learned. A. Marriage. Marriage is a union between a male and a female so that children born out of the wedlock is legitimate offspring of both the parents. Marriage is a means of social mobility, and people of different socio-economic backgrounds often do meet, fall in love, and many. Religion, educational background, and parents' choice influence a person's marriage. With marriage begins a new status which in turn means new roles. In today's context, wives no longer want to do their traditional roles of homemaking alone, rather many couples want to have double income. The marital relationship is slowly moving towards equal relationship. Sex stereotype roles are losing their importance. Happy marriage is thus the outcome of good socialization. B. Parenthood. The honeymoon period of marriage ends when the wives become mothers. Thus, the socialization for parenthood is a complete U-turn in life. It is a radical change and needs lot of pressure on the parents. From parenting there is no escape unlike divorce or change of jobs. How the adults learn to be parents? Much of the socialization is internalized while they are children. They repeat what their parents did, and some of their learning is from other sources or advice from other parents. C. Old age. Old age is a time of role loss and devaluation. Aging becomes an increasingly lonely experience for many people. In India, the anticipatory socialization prepares us for the adjustments we need to make with the aging parents. 1.9 Deviance and resocialization. Socialization unit is incomplete without having discussed on the topic of deviance. It means violation of society's essential norms. If all the children are socialized to observe the norms of their society, then there will be peace and harmony in the society. There will be no terrorists, Naxalites or cheaters and so on. But is our society peaceful and harmonious? Obviously, the answer is no. This is because of deviance. In simple words, we can define the term as bad socialization or socialization loaded with bad unwanted values as compared to socialization loaded with wanted good values. The process of bringing the deviance back into society's norms is rupiah socialization. In addition to the above, socialization is also learning values regarding your personal hygiene, toilet habits, keeping your house and surrounding neat and caring for public property, etc. Activity: make a list of do's and don'ts while you are using public toilets, parks and following traffic rules while driving and parking norms. Generally, it is observed that we are courteous and polite to strangers, but we are rude to our family and especially the children. Let us do an activity to check it. Activity: in the evening, go to a nearby park, observe young small children playing, 2 to 6 years of age, usually escorted by their parents. Very carefully notice the interacting patterns of parents and their children in the park. You may notice that few of them are quite gentle and polite with the child. Others use harsh language with the child. This is the beginning of socialization, inculcation of good and bad values among children. Through socialization we acquire discipline, the skills and knowledge, the tastes and ambitions that allow us to live as acceptable members of the society. The rule of obedience is learnt here. The child becomes familiar with the word no. Values developed age-wise versus Erickson's model: basic trust, basic mistrust, 1 year of life, autonomy versus Scherer's doubt, year of life, initiative, us, guilt, industry versus inferiority, identity versus role, confusion, intimacy versus isolation, the preschool years, middle childhood, adolescence, young adulthood. Generatively versus stagnation, prime of life, ego, integrity versus despair, old age. Erik Erikson describes the physical, emotional and psychological stages of development and relates specific issues or developmental work or tasks to each stage. For example, if an infant's physical and emotional needs are met sufficiently, then the infant completes his/her task, developing the ability to trust others. If a child is not allowed to learn by doing, the toddler develops a sense of doubt in his or her abilities, which may later develop into dependence or a feeling of insecurity and complicate later attempts at independence. In short, socialization is also seen as management of one's emotions like fear, aggression, attention-seeking and discipline during happy hours or in crisis. The upbringing of a child depends on one's culture. The process of relearning cultural norms and behavior from one generation to next generation is socialization. No two people are ever socialized in exactly the same way. Each of us develops a unique personality. 1.10 Lessons on life. The lesson on life is listening to stories and reflections relevant to the process of socialization. Through this story, I would say that our teachers should insist the students to become a good human being. The teacher can ask her students to come out with similar stories related with socialization. 110 Unconditional love. A story is told about a soldier who was finally coming home after having fought in Vietnam. He called his parents from San Francisco. Mom and Dad, I'm coming home, but I've a favor to ask. I have a friend I'd like to bring home with me. Sure, they replied. We'd love to meet him. There's something you should know, the son continued. He was hurt pretty badly in the fighting. He stepped on a landmine and lost an arm and a leg. He has nowhere else to go, and I want him to come live with us. Friends are a very rare jewel indeed. They make you smile and encourage you to succeed. They lend an ear, they share a word of praise, and they always want to open their hearts to us. Source: http://www.indianchad.com/insparang.stories.htm.com 1 अक्टूबर 2002 Quiz: See how you do on this one. 1. List a few teachers who aided your journey through school. 2. Name 3 friends who have helped you through a difficult times. 3. Name 5 people who have taught you something worthwhile. 4. Think of a few people who have made you feel special. 5. Think of 5 people you enjoy spending time with. The lesson: the people who make a difference in your life are not the ones with important credentials, money, or awards. They are the ones who care. Share this with those who have made a difference in your life just as I have done today. Source: taken from google.com. 1.11 Summary. Thus we now know that the desirable values in life are learned not only in childhood, but the adults also need to refresh rules of socialization from time to time. If everybody is properly socialized, then the society will be in peace and harmony. There will be no problem of interaction, no problem of adjustment, and the world would be conflict-free. Actually, it is not so. Somewhere something goes off the track, and devalued socialization leads to problems of interaction. In the next chapter, we will try to learn how the values contribute to good interaction and vice versa. Thank you. Subscribe to our channel for more updates, and we will see you with the next chapter.